following podcast is being brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network.
Tonight on Live with Nique Cruz, Nique tackles the issue of breaking the generational cycles. She talks about the cycle of generational debt, teaching young men it's not okay to be touched by older women, teaching our daughters how not to get raped rather than holding the adults accountable, and bums on the couch. You know what it's time for, your girl, my girl. Here we go, live with Nique Cruz.
Righteous on the beat.
Welcome to Live with Nique tonight. We're going to be talking about generational cycles that we need to break. I asked earlier for everyone to send me some topics y'all would like to talk about. I wrote them down. I'm still receiving some. We're going to talk about a few of those tonight. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and jump into it. So the first one someone wanted us to talk about was generational debt. Was how we kind of leave debt in our family in each generation. We don't really secure our kids' future. We kind of, work for ourselves and then, don't really help our kids. How do y'all feel about that? And I'm going to pin it here. We're talking about generational debt. I know I did have someone tell me or post that I posted of a woman getting life insurance for herself, and the insurance agent asked her, okay, well, how much do you want to have in order to bury your, for your children to bury you, and to keep and, be financially good after you pass on. Her reply was, all they need to do is bury me. I worked hard for this money. It's not their money. No, I'm not leaving them anything. All right, Shaniqua says, it's because black people only think about now. We don't think about the future and how it would affect the next, which is selfish, but is rooted. However, it can be changed. And how can we change that? How can we change the mindset of others to show them that you have to think long term? You can't just think right now. You have to think about your children and their children and their children. You have to teach your children how to save money at a young age. I do know some people don't. Some people kind of just spoil their kids. The kids feel entitled, like they're owed something, and they're not really taught to save anything or to invest in anything. We even had an argument about buying materialistic things. I always hear women say, and the reason why I say women, because I don't really hear men say this a lot. Some may say it, but I do often hear women say, oh, my child is not going to want for nothing. I make sure they're straight. But what are we really making sure that they're straight? Meaning, when he gets older, is he going to have to, is he going to be straight with college? Or, is his college funds are there? Is he going to be able to have a car? Will he be able to start a business if he wanted to instead of going to college? What do you mean he's always going to be straight? Most of the time, a lot of them mean, oh, we're going, I'm going to make sure my son or my daughter is going to be cute. They're always going to look decent. They're always going to look good. They're always going to stay with the hottest stuff. All right, Trey says, morals, values, and lessons. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Nique says, we need to take out policies, start trust funds when the kids are young, save money, invest, own something, businesses. Don't spend so much money on a funeral, for instance. You can cremate me. Take that money and make it useful. I'm dead. I agree. I keep telling, that's in my will, I want to be cremated. Don't spend all the money on a box to put, to put me in and show everybody. No. Paying a church and all of that. No. Cremate me. Have a moment of silence and let's move on. All right, Poppy says, still going to be taking care of them. Correct. That is so correct. There are a lot of people that don't know how to stand on their own because they were never taught how to stand on their own. They, their parents didn't really have them standing on their own or teaching them how to save, teaching them how to balance a checkbook, teaching them how to open an account. I didn't even have a bank account until I was 26 years old. A lot of people don't understand financial stability at an older age. Like a lot of us struggle paying our bills because we don't know how to balance priorities, materialistic things we want, things we need. Like, we're not really taught that. Some people are, but some people aren't. And it really does show in today's society. Shaniqua says, this is something black people don't know or talk about. Being uneducated is why we are so lost. Definitely. And not even just college educated, just educated, period. We hate to be faced with fear of not understanding something. We are scared to ask questions. And when I say we, I'll say we as a unit, not just black folks. Because it can go both ways. All races have an issue with generational debt. Solandra said, also, let your kids know you can't afford college. Maybe they will have another option instead of forcing them to go to a 4-year college and up $80,000 in debt. I agree. Have that conversation with your kids about what they want to do and what they would like to be when they grow up. And look at that. See if that's a moneymaker. Because there's no need in spending $80,000 in college tuition and be in debt with, all these college loans if you're going to be struggling to look for a job. And can't pay that debt back. All right, Trey says, to be honest, everyone comes from different economical backgrounds. The hustle and grind is going to be different. This is where guidance comes in. Shaniqua says, educated about reality. Definitely. Sean says, the young generation worry more about partying, impressing people than their kids' future. Shaniqua says, I went to a 4-year, but my career is teaching. We don't make lots of money, but they pay your debt off. Smart move for me. Definitely. That is a real smart move. And I didn't know that they do that. So that's definitely a smart move. But a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people probably will shy away from teaching because, especially in the news today, you see how so many students are attacking teachers and what all teachers have to endure in the classroom, and the overpopulated classrooms. Like, it really does suck, and especially the pay. I really feel like teachers are really underpaid for what they do. All right, Chanel says, I teach my kids that now, and I work hard for them, rather live now instead of the future. The way people are dying, it should wake people up. If people stop putting money into the wrong things and invest in the right things, these kids will follow their steps. All right, so let me make sure I understand your comment. So basically, you're stating that you teach your kids how to live now, so that way they can pick up the habits and be able to take care of themselves and invest themselves in the future. But what if, Lord forbid, what if something was to happen to you and you don't leave them anything, and they're not able to go to college the way they thought they could? They're not able to, they don't have any guidance. Like, you have to, well, this is just my opinion. I try to make sure I think further than just my kids. Like, I'm thinking about my kids' kids. But that's just me. All right, Shaniqua says, most government jobs pay your debt off. My benefits are great, though. Once I retire, my family and I are set. You have to network, talk, and ask questions. I agree. I definitely agree. I'm going to go ahead and let y'all comment a little bit more, and then I'm going to move on to the next topic. Okay, Chanel says, yes, I got college funds set for them now and life insurance and all. That's awesome. Shaniqua says it won't change unless the mindset changes. That's that. I agree. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next topic. The next topic is teaching young boys that older women touching them is not okay. I do see this in our generation, that we allow our boys to think it's okay for them to mess with older women. I say that is, I posted a post earlier in the week, or even last week, of a teacher. Well, it was a picture of a grown woman, half dressed, and it stated that if your 14-year-old son was sent this picture by his teacher, how would you feel? A lot of the men were hooting and hollering, like high-fiving, like, yeah, I will be so proud of my son. And y'all don't realize that's very damaging. That's very damaging to boys. Imagine being, a 14, 13-year-old boy, and you're in a room with a grown woman, and you don't even, she's teaching you what to do, because these boys don't know what they're doing, especially at 13 and 14. The men 20 and 30 barely know what they're doing. So, she's teaching him things that he shouldn't know. And then, in his mindset, this is okay. He's taught this is okay. Now, he's about to go after your daughters that are 13 and 14 years old. Teaching them things that this grown woman taught them. I I think the only time a lot of people really do teach, boldly wanted to touch on this topic as well. Ladies, stop letting grown women call your son their little boyfriend. No, that is not okay. Y'all have to stop doing that. Is not okay. We have to start putting that mindset in our little boys that no one can put their hands on you. No one can touch you inappropriate. Because let's turn the tables. If this was a 14-year-old girl and a grown man passed her and said, hey, your butt is getting real big in them jeans, we would all flip out. We would have him in jail. We would literally try to, it would be a whole witch hunt. But when it's done to a boy by a grown woman, we're like, oh, it's fine. You know, he's smiling. He's the man. And I know so many men my age, having conversations with them about their first time and, you know, how old was the girl they first had sex with. A lot of men will say 12, 13, and a lot of these women were 16, 17 years old. I even had a guy said, oh, I started at 7. A 16-year-old girl came and, you know, had sex with me, and he thought that was okay. Sarah says I think one of the reasons boys get a pat on the back goes back to the fundamental disrespect that a lot of men have for women as a whole. Women are just sex objects. You don't get mad at an object. That is, oh wow, that's deep. So basically Sarah is stating that men view us, and this is, you know, for years, men have viewed us just as sex objects. So when it comes to a younger boy being able to get the attention of an older woman, he's high-fived because that's just an object. John says, I used to have women say to me all the time, boy, when you get 18, hit me up. Now I'm older, I see them ladies as perverts. It was cool at the time for me. Alright, so I guess we're already finished with that. So I'll go ahead and move on to the next topic. The next topic is teaching women not to get raped. That was a question I actually heard today on a radio. Was a lot of times in our generation, even this goes way back, and teaching our girls not to wear too short dresses or too short shorts in front of their uncles and male cousins and even their father. Like, make sure you cover up. Oh, make sure, you know, you can't see through your shirt. Or, you know, make sure you make them comfortable instead of you being comfortable. Like, we never turn around and tell men, don't, you know, you're not supposed to look at a 10-year-old girl. You're not supposed to have those feelings for a little girl. Or even, you know, someone that's your family member. You're not supposed to look at these young ladies. And just because they're dressed a certain way, they do not want to get raped. They do not want to be touched. Sarah says, can you do that? Can someone also teach me how to not get murdered? How not to get robbed? Exactly. It's like we teach the opposite of, we're trying to teach people how to prevent themselves from getting raped instead of teaching people that you shouldn't rape someone. You shouldn't violate someone. All right, the Ninth Wonder says, by saying that, you put the blame on a girl rather than on the adult where it belongs. Exactly. And oftentimes we do it. Oftentimes we blame the victim. What were you wearing? Where were you at? Why were you with that person? We always seem to blame the victim, as in, what did you do to make him act like that? To make him do that to you? Shaniqua says, I wish men didn't have the mindset of, she has this on, so she wants this type of attention. That means nothing. And that's true. All women do not want the attention that you're giving them. Just because she has a low cut top, and she takes a picture doesn't mean or give you room to say something inappropriate to her. Sean says parents also with it if they let their kids listen to music about disrespecting or degrading women. Yeah, I agree with that. Actually, I really do. We do, some of us, let our children listen to music that refer to women as bitches and hoes and kind of degrade them. Well, not even kind of, really do degrade them as just some bitch you're fucking. Something that's loose and just can be passed around. And a lot of our kids are singing those type of songs. It does play a huge part. Alright, Poppy says, true, and I always dress like a boy and still. See, she's stating that she doesn't even dress, feminine. And still, she, gets those looks and inappropriate comments. Shaniqua says, music plays a huge part. Don't get me started. Oh, hey, we have 45 minutes. You can definitely start. Like I stated, we're not going to get through all these topics tonight. So, whatever topic that you want to jump into, go after it. And I really hate that also, because I believe whenever, and I hate to sound like, we are really going hard on men, but I really don't believe that men at a very young age are taught well. And I'm not going to say all, but some aren't taught well. And when I say not taught well, meaning I know a lot of little boys or people that I'm around that have little boys, and they're teaching them, oh, yeah, that's, letting people call them, oh, that's my little boyfriend, this, that, and the other. Oh, he's a ladies' man. Like, a 1-year-old walking around being called the ladies' man. There's even a little shirt that, they have for baby onesies that says ladies' man. So at a very young age, we're telling little boys, you're a ladies' man. You're supposed to get all the ladies. And then we wonder why men grow up and they don't know how to commit to one woman. We're teaching them all of this, and we're putting it into their brains and their mindset that you're supposed to have all the ladies. You're not the man unless you have all the ladies. We really don't teach our sons that you're supposed to grow up, get your life together, have some type of financial stability. If you choose to be married, get married, have children, be serious, and be serious about that commitment. We don't do that when it comes to men. However, what we do to women is from a very young age, make sure they have all these clothes on, don't show this, don't show that, make sure you're well covered, or, you know, a man is not going to respect you. Like, we put that in their heads. Oh, don't, you know, date more than one person, dare not have sex with more than one person. You shouldn't be texting more than one boy, they're going to call you a hoe, they're going to be talking about you. Why do we do that to our little girls? So our little girls are sitting there in their heads like, I can't talk to more than one boy. I can only talk to this boy. I can only focus on this individual. And if I don't and I talk to another individual, I'm going to be considered a hoe. I'm going to be considered fast, loose. Meanwhile, this little boy that she's talking to is talking to like 4, 5, 6 other girls, because he's taught, hey, you don't put all your eggs in one basket. You gotta wait for the one to come to you. You'll know the one when you find her. But I mean, y'all give them so many options, and you know, they're not. It's a double standard. It really is a double standard. All right. Chanel says, it's because most mothers can't teach the son things because they don't know, and most parents not being parents. They're trying to be their friend. I agree. A lot of parents today, especially, are not trying to be parents. They're, you know, this is my BFF. I am not my kid's friend. Alright, the Ninth Wonder says the lack of fathers is in a home is part of the issue. The young men see women dating different men over time, and if daddy is in their life but not with mommy, they see daddy's friends. We have to be more aware of what we are showing our kids. Definitely, I actually had a Dear Nique letter in regards to that. Not, you know, a man worried about his kid with his baby mom, but his baby mama was actually concerned about how many women was around her daughter. And her daughter was coming back telling her mom, like, oh yeah, my dad has lots of girlfriends. And we don't understand how, you know, that could really damage a little girl. A lot of men think of, oh, well, you know, I'm going to really treat my little girl with the highest respect, and she's going to be treated like a queen, and I'm going to treat her how a man is supposed to treat her. But you don't understand that that's not treating, you know, that's not teaching her, but how you're going to treat her. So while she has Jody laying in her bed and her rent is due and he ain't got no job, but he eating the best, she's going to call you to help her. Not Jody laying in her bed, because you treated her with respect. However, she watched how you treated other women, so she thinks, okay, well, I'm older now, I guess this is how men are. Like, there are many of us that can sit here and say, oh, my daddy wasn't shit. He wasn't shit to women, but I can call him at the drop of a dime. If I need, you know, him to pick me up and my car breaks down, I can call my dad and he'll be right there. But I bet he wasn't shit to no other woman. Unless he was married to your mom, and he probably still wasn't shit. Shaniqua says you don't have that many viewers because you're speaking real shit today. When you was talking about sex, buku views, that is the problem. Yeah. But I mean, hey, people may be busy tonight. And this is only part 1, so they're going to hear it on Monday as well. Alright, the Ninth Wonder says this behavior shows a young lady to expect that from a man. And for a young man to show how he should treat women. Yes. And I keep telling men that. I actually just had this conversation with a guy that regardless of you treating your daughters like, the best thing ever and being a great father is not going to be, because first and foremost, your daughters are going to be like their mothers. Period. Your daughters are going to be like their mother. So when they see you disrespecting their mom or not with their mom, and they see that you have, multiple baby mamas already, they see that, it's lightning outside. They see that you have, all these different women and different female friends and all of this, and they're like, oh, well, who is this and who is that and who is that? That's what they're going to take after. They're not going to take after how you treat them. They're going to say, well, when they get older and these men are, dragging them or, pulling out their energy, like cheating on them or, using them, they're going to say, oh, that's just how men are. You got to pick your poison. Either you're going to be with a man, and matter of fact, I had this conversation with 2 women on a road trip. One of the women said a man approached her, a man she was talking to approached her with something. And he told her, I have a girlfriend, but I would like for you to join us. Not sexually. No, I would like for you to be my girlfriend as well. I will take care of you. I will make sure everything, you won't have to do anything. I will make sure you eat. I will make sure you have shelter. If you want to work, you can work. If you don't have to. But you will be one of my girlfriends and you wouldn't be able to date outside of me. She said she was thinking about it because at least she knows who he's sleeping with. She knows what he's doing and he's being upfront and honest. And she said, we're going to share anyway. You might as well, know who you're sharing with. Like, we really need to stop that mindset. And the other woman in the car was like, yeah, my husband has been cheating on me, and the woman doesn't say anything. I know who she is. She's not disrespectful. And I'm like, no, that's not okay. Sean says women have to be careful because a high number of kids get molested by live-in boyfriends. And that is true. Chanel says having a lot of men around your daughter can damage her, and that's not good parenting. That's why most girls grew up and followed them footsteps off the mom. I agree. I definitely agree. My kids only met 2 men in their entire life, and they're 7 and 9. And those 2 men are their father and a longtime boyfriend that is still partially in their lives. He didn't just walk out. But I made sure they seen him take care of us, put food on the table, help mommy with bills. They never watched us argue or fuss. And that's what I believe. I did what I was supposed to. I didn't have men coming in and out of my house. My children never met anybody else but those 2 men. Hi, Jennifer. All right, Sean says some mothers need to stop having so many guys around. I agree. And I agree the other way around as well. A lot of men need to stop having a lot of women around their daughters and sons. Like, just because she's a woman doesn't mean she's not going to touch your little girl. Doesn't mean she's not going to touch your son. I know women who were touched by other women. Like, it's just something we don't talk about. Just like we don't talk about older women touching men, we kind of shy away from that, like, oh, it's okay, it's not that serious. There are women that touch little girls. The Knife Wonder says, not only the mothers, it's the fathers as well. Yes. The fathers, and I will say this, my father didn't have me around a whole bunch of women, but I do know a lot of you that have women around your kids. Like, it shocks me. It's like every relationship you're in, your son or daughter has a new stepmom. Moving on to the next topic, women taking care of men. I don't know how far back that goes, but I do see that a lot. I do see a lot of women being dropped off by boyfriends in their car. And I don't see that as an issue. I want to stretch that, because someone did approach me about that one time and said, well, my boyfriend drops me off because we only have one car, we live together, and he drops me off for work. He drops me off at work, and then he goes to work himself, comes and picks me up on his lunch break, and I drop him back off at work. And that's totally okay. However, we have a lot of women who are working full time just to take care of a grown-ass man. Alright, Tiffany says we need to wake up and realize that we are now living in a time where no one can be trusted. So we, as mothers and fathers, don't need to have every time and Harry in our kids' lives time out for all of that. This is our new uncle or auntie. I'm sorry, I hit a rain because it's like raining really hard. But yeah, women taking care of men. That's our new topic right now. Women taking care of men. I know a lot of women who are taking care of men who could take care of themselves. Oh, it's lightning too. But like I said, I do, at work, I do see a lot of women are dropped off in their cars by men I do know don't work. I do see a lot of men sitting at home while a woman works. I see that a lot on Facebook as well. Alright, the Knife Wonder says, you get what you allow. Bianca says, I'm not doing it. In Jesus' name. Now, there are certain situations where a woman's going to have to take care of a man. Like, for instance, if your husband or your boyfriend loses his job, for the moment, you may be taking care of him. And that's not, and I'm not going to say that's a bad thing. That's just, for the moment. But it shouldn't be a long-term thing. It shouldn't be, okay, well, every day he's sitting home on the couch, he's not moving because he lost his job. No, you get up and you be a man and you go find another one. There are men out here that just don't work. Like, they may be in the street here and there, but they just don't work. They don't help with the kids. They don't clean up. But when they, when you get home, you have to clean the whole house, take care of the kids, make sure homework's done, they're washed, get to bed, cook dinner. All of this you have to do, and you have a grown behind man at home. Like, I've even seen a man come to my job to get money from his girlfriend. So he can go buy cigarettes from the store. And then when I asked her, oh, do you want something? I hopped back in her car and left. Sarah says we should be taking care of each other. I'm working, making money. What are you doing? You have a job, a side hustle. You at least cook, cooking and cleaning. If you aren't bringing something to the table, I don't need you. Won't, especially if it's been a long period of time, bills have to be paid. Bills do not stop because you don't have a job. So if you have to flip burgers until the next thing comes along. Alright, Tiffany says, I've seen some women who are insecure with themselves and feel like if they have a man, they should keep him whether he's working or not. We need to help out our women to boost their self. confidence to know that she does not need in order for him, does not more words. I believe the same thing. I believe there's a lot of women that come to play where they like to say, oh, well, at least I have a man. Like, no, I'm not taking that. Or a lot of women will either say, well, you know, at least I know where he's at. I know what he's doing. I'm taking care of him. I know everything he got going on. I put clothes on his back. And even those men, they'll like to bash them. The topic is women taking care of men. But a lot of women like to... Alright. I'm back. I'm sorry, y'all. I believe the storm is affecting my connection. But, I have 10 more minutes anyway. But, yeah, you have to understand your children are watching. You take care of a grown man. And for a woman, you know, for your daughters are watching you take care of a man, and you think they're not going to follow in your footsteps. You know, you can't tell your daughter, oh, you know, don't let a man use you. And Jody's sitting on a chair with no job, not doing nothing. Probably didn't even wash himself. Alright, so Bianca says, you're not about to add more bills to my life, and I have a son to take care of. Alright, Solana says there are levels to that. Does he have ambition? Is he trying? And just down on his luck? Are we together? How long have we known one another? I've got questions. Oh, hold up, y'all. But definitely, I hate seeing it because it's like women become so desperate that we don't understand it. You don't need necessarily, I'm not gonna say you don't need, but you don't necessarily need a man. You need a man to need you. No, I'm sorry, scratch that. You don't need a man like that. You need a man that's going to be a man. You need a man that's going to make sure he meets you halfway. That he has something to bring to the table. Even if he doesn't work, maybe he's good with taking care of the kids, making sure the house is clean, cooking. You know, he does that, at least. Because there's no need in you working an 8-hour, 10-hour shift, coming home, and he's still in the same spot, playing a game. Kids' homework's not done. They haven't taken no bath. They haven't eating. Nothing. Okay, y'all. I'm going to have to stop my live at this time because it's lightning. And it's like the wind is blowing and it's raining like crazy. So I'm going to have to stop it 10 minutes early. But I thank you all for joining me tonight. And I appreciate it so much. I'll be back on Monday with more topics. I have a whole lot more topics in regards to this. And if you have any more, don't hesitate to send them to me. Y'all have a good night.
Shh. You hear that? Listen closer. That, my friend, is the deafening sound of focus. It drowns out all the useless noise that can clutter the moment. Naysayers don't exist. Haters? Smaters? The peanut gallery? Who's that? When you in your zone, all that noise and all that buzz is just elevator music. So, enjoy your journey, focus on your goal, and bask in the quiet roar that is progress. Because when it's your time to shoot that shot, spit that verse, or close that deal, the only voice that matters is yours. Defy life.